Hello and welcome to Geoscope with me, Graham Hughes, and I'm joined this evening by Mike Dicks of Trumpton fame. Hello, Mike, who's standing in for Ollie. Because Ollie can't
do I have to do a Yorkshire accent?
You do have to do a Yorkshire accent for the rest of the show.
Hey, by gum.
And you need to have a whippet in your trousers or something.
That Donald Trump, he's a right un, isn't he?
He is a right un. No, he's a wrong un. He's a wrong un. That's what he is. He's a wrong un. So before we get on, I'd just like to say a big hello to Graham Haller in the chat. We've got Blob RCW there. We've got Jacob Platt and Chris C and others, I assume. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit the big juicy subscribe button and wait for a minute, and you'll be able to join in. There's a new thing on YouTube, Mike, called Hype. Do you know about Hype?
Go on. No, tell me.
You put a video up, right, and for the first 7 days that it's up, your fans have a chance to hype the video, and the more people who hype the video, the more coverage it'll get on YouTube.
Excellent.
Feeding the algo with hype. So more buttons for everyone to press.
Where's that button?
Yeah,
Is
I
it
don't know.
on the page?
I just had to approve Elle's message there because she wrote Dicks and then waved twice, and it wouldn't let her message come up.
You shouldn't. Waving dicks around on YouTube, not allowed. Just not allowed.
They thought she was being rude. All she was doing was saying your name.
It, like, on official sites, government sites and things like that, I get challenged constantly that you can't have a name like that. And you go, well, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, it is a bit difficult, I have to say. But yeah, I was thinking about when they brought out you and Twitter first started to get going. They put on like a swear filter. Do you remember this? A long time ago, that swear filter. And Scunthorpe got into trouble.
Kept coming up, yeah.
Clitheroe got into trouble.
Many years ago, I worked for an agency that built and ran Channel 4's website.
Yeah,
and they had bulletin boards at the time. There was no such thing as chat and whatever, and they asked us to build a swear filter for it. So we got 12 kids from local school in Shoreditch to come in and just try and write down all the swear words they possibly could for a whole day. We paid them about 100 quid each to just sit there typing as many swear words as possible. And then we just block them all.
It's always best to ask kids because they know all the best swear words. They've got like ultra high frequency swear words, like adults don't even realize are swear words, which is fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a lot of news from around the world to get through, but first of all, big announcement: Tay-Tay is engaged. Taylor Swift. She's engaged to Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift.
Oh, Travis Kelce, he's great. I like him. Who's this Tay-Tay character?
I don't know. I think she's like some kind of social climber. Do you know what I mean? One of them. You know,
bloody gold diggers.
Gold digger. Terrible, yeah, she's just going out with this guy to like raise her profile, apparently.
Well, maybe she'll launch a music career or something.
Yeah, off the back of it, like M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
She just reacquired or purchased. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but she just got hold of all of the rights to her music.
Her first 6 albums. Yeah. Which is phenomenal.
Impressive.
But
when you think Paul McCartney doesn't own all of his music,
yes,
you know she's done
really well. And she had the idea, which Paul obviously couldn't do after the Beatles split up, but she re-recorded a load of her old albums because you got 2 copyrights, haven't you? You've got the composition copyright and you got the performance copyright. And she didn't have the
and you got a recording copyright as well, and I think she's got those as well.
Yeah, so that's why she did Taylor's version of all this. So that's the top news of the evening. Should we talk about the other stuff that's going on in the world? Botswana are in up shit creek because of Donald Trump. Botswana
tariffs
is one of the few examples of both a landlocked and an African country that does all right. We never really hear about Botswana in the news because it's doing all right. It's had a fairly functioning democracy since the 1960s, since it got independence. And Botswana doesn't bother its neighbours. It doesn't have any tyrants in charge running around killing everyone who looks at them funny, farmers or homeless people, like next door in Zimbabwe. Their biggest export is diamonds. They're very lucky that they have diamonds. Right. But because of the global downturn in people buying diamonds, because there's only so many diamonds that billionaires can buy, in a day, and everybody else can't afford them anymore because of Trump's tariffs. It means that they're not doing so well at the moment.
Do they have control over their own diamond trade? It's not a De Beers thing, or
oh no, it's probably all De Beers, but they get cut, don't they?
Yeah,
De Beers own all the diamonds. Any diamonds, De Beers. I don't understand why we have to get natural diamonds. We can make them now. Would you know the difference? I wouldn't know the difference.
It's just it is literally just a branding thing, isn't it? Like in the lanes in Brighton, there must be 30 jewelry shops because it has a reputation for a place to come and buy a diamond ring, an engagement ring. And I just think, I wander around there just thinking, what on earth? What? These shops cost a fortune to the business rates and rents and everything else, basically, and they're just full of little diamond rings.
Yeah. Well,
don't get it.
Well, the downturn in the global diamond market, coupled with the US trade tariffs, which have been put on goods coming from Botswana, as everywhere else, at least 10%. Also, the US aid cuts, because US aid has destroyed millions of tons of food and medicine that was supposed to be sent out around to developing nations. It's taken a toll on the country's finances, and basically they're running short of medicine. Medicine to treat hypertension, diabetes, cancer, asthma, and eye conditions, as well as supplies including bandages and sutures and those for sexual and reproductive health.
I mean, it's like, I was reading that India is suffering as well from the 50% tariffs as well, saying that they can't afford to pay workers because orders are going down. Yeah. So, the tariffs, Trump believes that the countries are paying the tariffs. They're not. It's the Americans that are paying the tariffs, and the Americans are just not buying a lot of the things because they've got more expensive. So obviously all these countries are starting to suffer with a downturn in orders, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a slow process to leak in anyway. We're only in August and half the tariffs still haven't hit in, have they?
Yeah. So the next up, nearby, not next door, but nearby, is former Swaziland, Eswatini, as it's now known. And Eswatini's government is facing a court challenge over men who were deported by the US. A group of NGOs claim that the deal was unconstitutional and violated the imprisoned men's human rights. And the problem here, this is a very small, very impoverished African country. And these men who were flown over there were from Vietnam, Jamaica, Laos, Yemen, Cuba. None of them were from Eswatini, of course. But the government did a deal, like the Rwandan government did a deal with our government, the Tory government, to take the ne'er-do-wells of America. And now there's a legal challenge against the government, not of America, but of Eswatini. And, I don't think they got the money to pay for this kind of shit. Do you know what I mean? They thought they'd get in with Donald Trump and everything would be awesome and they get some money for taking these ne'er-do-wells. And it's all gone to shit, really.
That's it. Did you see, well, I was listening to the news just before this, because when you said, can you stand in for Ollie and do the show, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should have listened to the news today. That would have been quite useful, basically. So I listened to BBC News at 6 o'clock. The first 10 minutes of it were about Nigel Farage planning to send 600,000 people when he becomes Prime Minister. The first 10 minutes of the BBC bulletin based on Farage just saying something in an aircraft hangar, basically.
Could you imagine if they gave 10 minutes to Zach Goldsmith saying that he's going to bring a green revolution?
Yeah.
Or sorry, not Zach Goldsmith, Zach Polanski. Zach Polanski,
or even
has got to be leader of the Greens.
10 minutes of exploring whether Angela Rayner's allowed to own a house, basically.
or Ed Davey, he gives a speech on care in the UK, and that gets 10 minutes at the beginning of the BBC bulletin.
I swear, the BBC these days, I mean, I used to defend them a lot, but I think the Tories infiltrated it so much at top levels, senior levels, that it is definitely, I mean, it is responsible for these arseholes painting flags all over our pavements and everything else, because I watched one of Phil's videos the other day where he was sort of analysing a bunch of videos and showing that there were far more police and anti protesters, anti-flag protesters, than there were flag protesters. But you would not believe that if you watched the news or
No.
read the newspapers.
No.
You know?
No.
It's just being constantly accelerated by this. And today, 10 minutes of Farage talking about cancelling the ECHR, tearing up all these agreements that we've got, sending everybody back, and paying money to Iran and Syria to take their people back.
Yeah, billions of
I mean,
pounds
that's going to
British taxpayers'
backfire on him on a massive scale, basically. That's.
But his followers don't hear that. All his followers hear is get rid of them, get rid of them, don't want them, get rid of them.
Yeah.
There was an interesting graph that I saw today, which was to do with the amount when people are asked, like, is this a bad thing for you personally? The biggest discrepancy between people who said something was a bad thing for them personally versus a bad thing for the country was immigration. With immigration, about 40% of people saying it's a bad thing for the country, and only like 3% saying it's a problem for them personally. And you're like, this is just a perceived problem. It is something that's just been obviously blown up by the.
Yeah. Did you see the birth rate in Scotland is lower than the death rate for the first times in sort of 20 years or something?
Yeah.
And yet the population of Scotland is going up because they're encouraging immigration to Scotland because they are losing people. They just don't have enough people to sustain their economy. This summer argument. The only thing I can say about this flag bollocks is just that, well, it stopped them rioting. And it's probably taken a bunch of, middle-aged divorcees out of the game for a while so they can't fiddle with their kids at the weekend, basically. That's pretty much the only upside of all of this. I do want to stress this. I had a really good, I was very disillusioned with politics yesterday and Sunday. I was just sitting there thinking, I'd put a couple of things up about flags, and Twitter had proved itself a cesspit of right-wing nut jobs.
Which it is.
And I was just thinking, I've been doing this 10 years. Do I really, so I'm so successful that Donald Trump is now president for a second time, and Nigel Farage is a fucking MP, probably heading for the House of Lords at some point. And there's me, an impoverished, cancer-ridden artist, sitting there going, I'm doing great. But and I was having a day like that. And then I went out to go to the shop, and the zebra crossing opposite my house had red crosses painted on it in Brighton, of all places. And I was so incensed that I posted it on Facebook, and I copied in the leader of the council, Bella Shanky, who I know from my activities in Labour. And do you know what? On Sunday, she responded to that, both on Facebook and then with a direct WhatsApp message saying, tell me where this is, I'll get it fixed. And she got it fixed by the next morning, basically. And then posted that when the Roses come and play rugby in Brighton, we will be hanging St. George's flags appropriately around the city to celebrate them. But this kind of vandalism and right-wing propaganda will not be allowed in this city. And I thought my faith was restored in social media and politics for about 20 minutes. So that was it. That was my good day with flags yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean that there is small little pockets of hope everywhere, and one of the big pockets of hope, I think, is the fact that Trump isn't looking the best at the moment.
Yeah, I saw your show this morning.
He's not, and I'm just plotting my celebrations when he gets on that big beautiful day, mate. I'm just plotting my celebrations.
Where are we going to have the party? Outside the American embassy?
Outside the American embassy. Oh, come on. You've got to. It'd be so much fun.
Although now it's in South London, it's not so nice. It was nicer when it was on North London.
Yes. Where it is now is very much in the middle of it's a former wasteland, isn't it? It's where the Nine Elms needed regeneration. And so America came and said, well, we'll build a big embassy if you give us a tube station. And they're like, yeah, okay, we can have a tube station at the cost of millions and millions of pounds to the taxpayer. Which didn't help me in Liverpool or in Durham at all with my public transport. But, we're getting off the topic.
Put the American embassy in Durham. That would have been good.
So we're talking of asylum seekers and deportations and things. The leader of Uganda has agreed with the Americans to take the asylum seekers who don't want to go back to the country of origin. So they're going to be doing a Rwanda, which is funny because Uganda's right next to Uganda.
Do you think
Rwanda. Rwanda's next to Uganda and Burundi.
Is there any evidence that Rwanda's doing any of this and it's working? I mean, they did. Obviously, the Rwanda scheme didn't.
They took the money, though.
With us.
They kept the money.
Yeah, they took the money.
They got like £500 million.
Yeah, well, you know.
Now,
Suella Braverman has a charity based in Rwanda to train Rwandan lawyers in British immigration law.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, that's a coincidence, isn't it? And then she came up with the Rwanda scheme.
It's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you talking about a conflict of interest?
Suella Braverman.
I'm a conflictor of interests. That's what I do. I'm a politician. But yeah, so Uganda's reached an agreement to take in deportees from third countries who may not get asylum, but are reluctant to go back to their own countries.
It can only be a short-term cash. America's not going to pay the bills for these people forever, is it? No. So they're going to. No. All right. And as I understood it, what was happening with the Israel scheme on Rwanda?
Yeah, they were deporting them.
They were coming to Rwanda, and then they were just walking across the border into any other country they wanted.
Some of them were getting deported again, redeported from Rwanda. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So what else is going on? Gayton McKenzie,
which is a great business. If I ran an African country, I think I'd offer to take all the refugees as well. Yeah, basically, just give me the money and the refugees, and then it's a self-fulfilling business. They just keep going and coming back.
So there's a guy called Gayton McKenzie who's in the South African government. He is the sport, arts, and culture minister, and he's under investigation by the Human Rights Commission in that country for historical social media posts containing a highly offensive racial slur. So he's under investigation right now. He had used the word, I don't want to say it here, it begins with K, Kaffir. It's a racial slur for black people, even though he was not directing it at particular individuals. Now, in South Africa, there's different, I don't want to say ethnicities, there's not different ethnicities. There's different groupings. So there's whites, there's blacks, and then there's coloureds. Now, the coloureds are people who, and I use that term under advisement, that's the word they use, not the word that I would use. That's for people who are mixed race. And he's coloured. Yeah. He's down as mixed race. And for him to be using this term, which is a racial slur against black people, I think someone uses it in Lethal Weapon 2, is pretty grim. It's pretty grim. But maybe he could argue that it's a bit like a gangster rapper using the N-word.
He's trying to reclaim it in some way.
Maybe, but these posts were from fucking 10 years ago or something. Not that matters. I always think when people go, "Oh, it was a long time ago." I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure if I murdered someone in 1984, I'd still be on the hook for their murder. You'd still be a murderer. Yeah, still be a murderer. And if they found some evidence,
it was a long time ago. I mean, everybody murdered somebody in the 90s. Come on.
Yeah. So next up, we've got going over to the Americas. So there's been a painting, an old master, right? That was looted by the Nazis. And it's turned up in, guess which country? Go on, you got to guess which country. Nazi painting.
I don't know.
South America.
Is it maybe Argentina?
Yes, it's Argentina. Well done. You won the quiz. Okay. So Argentina famously took in a lot of Nazis after the end of World War II, who were spirited out of Germany with the help of the Vatican at the time. So that's nice. And Swiss authorities as well also helped out. They said, if you leave the gold here with us, we'll help you get out into Argentina and also into Brazil. A lot of, as in the boys from Brazil. But yes, this Giuseppe.
It's the daughter of a Gestapo officer, isn't it? And she advertised the house for sale or as an Airbnb, as far as I can remember, with a stolen picture basically on the wall, which is, I think, is perfect. Really, that somebody's discovered that. You no longer have to go and trawl the streets of Buenos Aires to find the Nazis. You can just go through Airbnb, basically.
So there's a database of lost art. I love this. This is like something good. You know, when we talk about the good things that can come from AI, there are good things that come from social media. There are good things that come from the internet. You know, there are some good things, and this is one of them. I think is just having a database so you can look up what the looted Nazi artworks look like, and maybe we give them back to their original owners. Well, not the original owners, but the descendants of the original owners.
Families of, yeah.
Yeah, it was stolen from Holland. It was the Netherlands. It was.
Who was it? Was it Goebbels that was like the avid collector? I can't remember which.
I'm not sure.
One of the.
I'm not up on.
But there was one that there was some sort of strategy which involved which countries to invade when, based on the art collections of some of the senior Nazis and what paintings they wanted.
Oh my god! So they're treating like
it was like it was
Pokemon.
Literally just running around Europe stealing fine art from everywhere.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. Well, anyway, that's so. I guess he's got into trouble.
Then again, Donald Trump steals football trophies.
Yes.
It's what's the difference?
Yeah. Basically. So there is also in America, this is in the United States of America, first case of flesh-eating screwworm parasite confirmed in the US.
Oh, great. Excellent.
The case investigated by Maryland Department of Health and the US Centers for Disease Control was confirmed as a New World screwworm on the 4th of August and involved a patient who returned from travel from El Salvador, which is where are they taking loads of people at the moment? The people at the round.
Is it El Salvador?
Yes, it's El Salvador, and some of them are coming back.
Well, the good thing is Trump at least has appointed a sensible health secretary, hasn't he?
Oh yes, yes. Who's very fond of worms.
Yeah,
he used to have one in his brain.
He did. He probably still has. I think it's controlling him. But yeah, no, that's.
Any
major health outbreak in the States now is going to be a nightmare as we head into the autumn and winter.
Yeah.
I think, you give that guy a year in charge of cutting everything back and pretending nothing happens.
Well, I mean, with RFK Jr., he's running around cutting programs. Him and Trump are cutting up food programs for kids. And they're saying, we've got to stop them eating all these, additives and all these food colorings and stuff because it makes them go crazy. And I'm like, yeah, so the instead of them having, eating stuff with food colorings in, your solution to that is give them no food at all.
Or raw milk.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
The problem, a bit of the problem with Kennedy is that some of the things that he's trying to get stopped probably make some sense, probably for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But, the microplastic situation is a nightmare and is causing widespread health problems, I think. And we're not facing that one down at all, but he does talk about that. He does say that that's an issue, and that's an issue for the petrochemical industry. So Trump isn't going to be very happy if they start banning microplastics.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the madness of that guy, he's got a couple of things that, okay, if he implements them, that might not be so bad.
It's getting all the wellness people on board. That's why he's done it, to get the wellness people on board. But
of course.
Viper Scott says, here's something to make you chuckle. Thank you, Alistair. A rumour of an old hotel being used for asylum seekers in Scotland had protest. They tried breaking in, and oopsie, the police were training there with their canine dogs, and someone got bitten. Shouldn't laugh, but I will. And it was going. He kept them at his hunting lodge in Karen Hall. He had the title of Jägermaster of the Third Reich. And Trip Trip wants to know, he wonders if Kennedy's brainworm felt the screwworm becoming into existence. I mean, the thing about RFK is he sounds so ill. I mean, even through all of your cancer treatment, you never sounded as ill as RFK. He does sound like a reanimated corpse. Having a conversation with a reanimated corpse.
I don't know what it was that did it.
On.
I mean, he was a massive drug addict, wasn't he?
Yes, he was big into cocaine, as most of them were. I think. I mean, most coke addicts from the 80s are now in charge of the world.
But I'm not sure whether his voice was ever. I've never seen any recordings of him as a younger man, so I'm not sure when his voice changed.
Yeah. So, Canada's got to drop some counter tariff measures. Mark Carney has had a chat with Trump and managed to, I don't know, get the levies on steel and aluminium and autos to stay in place, but then some of the others will go down. So yeah, he's having to waste his time placating a fucking toddler so that these two countries, whose biggest trading partners are each other, can get on.
To Carney's credit, he went to Kiev, didn't he, for Independence
Day. Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, that's something that a decent leader of America should have done. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I am enjoying the right-wing meltdown over Gavin Newsom's social media posts over the last 2 weeks. That has been giving me a lot of chuckles, But there you go. And also the temporary protection on Venezuelans living in America is being lifted, and now thousands of Venezuelans in the US are facing deportation after fleeing the Maduro regime in Venezuela. Yeah.
I was watching a video earlier today about it literally just put together a load of clips of ICE agents operating on the streets and also the military operating in Washington now. And the video simply said, if we'd shown this to MAGA supporters, to Republican voters 5 years ago, and said the federal government is going to take to the streets with armed, masked men, and with policing the streets with armored vehicles and knocking on doors and just walking in and taking people and arresting them and then deporting them, 20% of MAGA voters would have gone, no, over my dead body, I'm going to go out there and shoot these people. And now it's just gradually it got to a point where America is just okay with this. Not all America, but it just seems to be, we just pick people up, round them up and deport them.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what they do. Because they wanted, under that disgusting henchman of Trump, I forgot his name, he's the horrible man. He wanted like 1 million people rounded up in 6 months. Stephen Miller. Nosferatu. He is. But he's nowhere near. They're nowhere near that number, and they won't get anywhere near that number because there aren't that many criminals. There literally are not that many criminals, and so they're rounding up people who are like ice cream truck drivers and stuff. People working in Home Depot in America, because people working in the fields, making food for Americans, which they don't want anymore, apparently. I'm just getting some information here from Trip saying Mike Dicks, the Hysteria podcast, is an excellent backstory for RFK Jr.
It is.
This fucking guy stories covers a lot of the twats.
I love that. I love their videos. Yeah, they're really
good. I'm subscribed to Hysteria podcast. But they really go to town on this fucking guy. I'd love them to do one on.
I like the fact they did one on Christy Nome in the This Fucking Guy series. Basically, I thought that was perfect.
So
I haven't seen the RFK one actually. I'll dig that one out and watch it.
Well, coming back from the Americas, we're going to head over. Well, we can continue on. I can continue on to the west, past the international state line, over to Asia Pacific. Cambodian MPs have just passed a fucking bill that is going to enable citizens to be stripped of their citizenship if they say no, if they say mean things. They're saying it's working with foreign governments, but actually it's just any hurty words. And this is a it's quite a chilling concept, because one of the reasons why there was such obviously because it was quite unusual anyway, but with Suriga Begum, so what's her name, the woman who went to
the one that went to Syria or Libya.
And she apparently, according to the British government, has Bangladeshi citizenship, which she claims that she hasn't, and she hasn't gone to Bangladesh, so I don't think she has. If she didn't have that, the British government couldn't strip her of her citizenship. This is quite serious. We can only do it in circumstances where you have dual citizenship with another country. Otherwise, we're not allowed to do it. So that's a bit worrying. There's been protests in Indonesia over privileges for parliamentary members and corrupt elites. So watch this space.
They're building
coming here soon.
Moats for their ducks or something.
Possibly. And we've also seen a massive surge in piracy in the Malacca Straits, which is very concerning.
Oh, excellent.
So the Malacca Straits is the little bit of water between the island of Sumatra in Indonesia and Malaysia. And that's the strait that you have to go through if you are coming or going from China or Japan or Taiwan or Vietnam or Singapore on a boat. So, yes, incidents of piracy and armed robbery on the Straits of Malacca in Singapore have nearly quadrupled this year. And
do you know what the cause is? Do you know why it's increasing?
I would say it's because there's less US aid going in. I would say that people are facing unemployment, they're facing poverty. And we see this every time there's a global downturn in the global economy, crime goes up. And the Malacca pirates are different from the Somali pirates in that they come from different continents, but also the Malacca pirates are more likely to rob stuff on the boat, whereas the Somali pirates take everyone hostage.
Right, and demand a...
Yeah, so the Malacca pirates are more like pirates that you think of from the olden days because they just come on the boat and steal what they can off the boat, right? Whereas the Somali pirates is a bit more of a high-tech operation where they actually
kidnapping or hijacking.
Yeah, they hijack the ship and they hold the ship and the crew to ransom for millions and millions of dollars, most of which goes to Russian gangsters, by the way, not to the Somali pirates who risk their lives doing it. The brokers, the middlemen. The middlemen,
and 15% of which goes to Putin. We can't complain there because that's how the British Empire was built, wasn't
it? Yes, piracy mostly.
Largely,
largely just piracy.
Off you go and be a pirate. Bring us back some money.
I'm not a pirate. I'm a privateer.
Yeah, of course. You're very much like I'm not a migrant. I'm a expat.
No, we're not. I'm not soliciting prostitution. This woman is an actress. We're making a porno.
Yeah, and I'm a bishop.
That's a bit worrying. And there was a referendum in Taiwan about opening a nuclear plant, and it's failed. So people have said no, they don't want a nuclear plant in Taiwan.
Really?
Yeah. They wanted to restart the Manshan reactor. But it didn't reach the clear majority. Actually, didn't reach the legal threshold, and they'll reconsider it. They may reconsider if it becomes safe. So there you go. They had a referendum.
Thought Taiwan would try and become energy self-sufficient. I mean, I don't know enough about that debate, but you would have thought that they would be trying to become energy self-sufficient in Taiwan, just in case China decides to, at the very least, blockade the island, because I don't imagine they've got any oil in Taiwan at all, have they?
No, and Taiwan have been preparing for an attack from China for 70 years. I mean, it would be like the Russians trying to invade Finland. On paper, you might go, "Oh, yeah, that could work," but in reality, it's like, no.
Yeah, no.
It would be an absolute fucking. It would just be meat. It would just be a meat grinder. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. We're getting lots of loves and hugs coming in from Viper Scott and also from Chris C. That's very nice. And,
I think it's for Sarah. Is it for Sarah?
Yeah, feeling like crap. My mum's in hospital. Then another troll had to go at me when I commented on a Facebook post. Thankfully, he got blocked by the person who put up the post on Facebook. It still hurts. I'm so sorry, Sarah, that happened to you. And it's really just people feel like they can just be as horrible as they like on Facebook to absolute bloody strangers, and it's disgraceful. And I'm sorry.
And also, I'm sorry, Sarah, as well. I mean, I had that kind of day after a couple of posts about flags at the weekend, and they are trolls. A large number of them are trolls, and then people just emulating that behaviour. But it is vicious nowadays. There is no middle ground in these debates at all. And I always try to deflect, as Trumpton, I always try and deflect those arguments with a bit of humour, or, I don't go back at them with the same kind of insults. But, Sarah, the best thing to do is don't read the comments. Unfortunately, I don't listen to my own advice half the time. So, don't engage with them. It's not worth it.
So we'll move over to Australia for a moment. There's been a fucking double murder. Two police officers killed in cold blood in Victoria State in Australia, in a place called Porpunka. What a great name for a place! Jesus Christ, they come up with some really great names. There's a place called Wagga Wagga, but apparently it's pronounced Wagga Wagga.
Especially when I know you've travelled far more extensively than me, but Porapunka is in the Australian Alps. And I'm like,
Yes.
I didn't even know there were Australian Alps.
Apparently
There's
there
a
are.
new thing. Something I've learned today.
But yeah, so there was someone fled into the bush. But what was unusual is this was a shooting incident, and Australia has very, very few shooting incidents since the Port Arthur massacre of the mid-90s. It was around the same time that the Dunblane massacre happened in the UK, and both the UK and Australia, which had a lot more guns at the time, were just like, that's it, no more guns. Fuck off. We're gonna make it really difficult.
Yeah.
So
and there's still a manhunt going on for whoever it was that perpetrated.
Yeah, they haven't caught them.
59-year-old cop and a 35-year-old senior constable murdered in cold blood.
Jesus, pretty grim. Also in Australia, something interesting going on with their relationship with Iran. Iran, strangely enough.
Yeah.
So basically, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, has he's expelled the Iranian ambassador, accusing Tehran of anti-Semitic attacks on Australian soil, and Iran has vowed retaliation. I don't know what they're going to do against Australia in terms of retaliation.
That's a hell of a drone battery they're going to need, isn't it?
That's it. No more kangaroo burgers. Yeah. Fuck those guys. So yeah, just a bit of a strange one, that. But you know, Iran does have a track record of clandestine operations, assassinations, bombings, influence campaigns, just like Russia, who it's very good mates with. So there you go. Anyway, so what else have we got? We've got around Europe. We've got Moscow hinting at of delaying a snapback of sanctions against this Russia and Iran sanctions coming in, and they've.
Trump was saying yesterday that I don't know if you saw him in the press conferences he was doing yesterday, but he was saying Russia's going to pay in 2 weeks. It's his classic line of "we'll see in about 2 weeks."
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Because he's got the attention span of a gnat. He thinks 2 weeks is like in an infinite future, and everyone will have forgotten because they've thrown 20 new stories into the press.
Yeah.
But how many times has he given Russia a 2 week deadline on something?
Oh, he just loves giving things 2 weeks deadline. It's his favorite. It's his favorite animal.
It is just an admission, and the problem is that everyone plays into it. The press talk about it for a day, then they don't talk about it afterwards. They forget to go back to it in 2 weeks' time because Trump announces he's brought himself a new golden wig or something. You know, it's like,
yeah. But anyway, so Russia's basically saying they want to give Iran 6 more months before European powers reimpose sweeping UN sanctions over the fact that Tehran is not allowing UN inspectors back into its nuclear sites after the Israeli-US assault in June. So again, this is just the coming together of Trump being a fucking arsehole, Netanyahu being a fucking arsehole, and Putin being a fucking arsehole. We're surrounded by arseholes.
Yes. Yeah. I'd love to have something far more intelligent and funny to say about it all, but no, we're basically surrounded by assholes, and it appears that there are more and more of them taking over, and it appears that the BBC thinks Nigel Farage should be our arsehole in the future. So
clean our souls. Anyway, yes,
save our souls.
Save our souls. But yes, also it was on the 24th on Sunday. It was Ukraine's Independence Day when it got independence from Russia. Something that Russia wasn't very happy about, it seems, at the time. It got independence from the Russian Empire. It was known as the USSR at the time, but that was just a cover story. It was the Russian Empire.
And it's. I wish you've got some friends from Ukraine as well, haven't you? And, I wished her. I said that I can't wish you a happy Independence Day because it's not a happy day in Ukraine, but at least there's still a large percentage of Ukraine that's independent at the moment.
Well, Zelensky's pushing really a lot for security guarantees. That's what he wants at the moment.
Yeah, although I was reading today that Ukraine's admitted that Russia's entered the region of Oh God, I wish I hadn't started that conversation. Dipronetska, Dipropetrovsk.
That'll do.
Anyway,
Near enough.
yeah, somewhere in the east. Basically, it's in the east of Ukraine, but it looks like Russia's made some more gains. This whole process really is about Russia just trying to grab bits and bits more land, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until they have to sit down and sign an agreement and do this land swap, as they call it, when nobody's swapping land except Ukraine handing it over.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Gaza in a moment, but before we do, let's go to Lebanon, right? So Beirut, press conference going on. Tom Barrack, who's a US special envoy to Syria, is in Beirut, right? And this senior US envoy, right? Trump appointee, I suppose. He told journalists, right, to act civilized and not be animalistic.
Okay.
I just I can't even. Anyway, so people demanding an apology for that. But yeah, what's been happening in Gaza has been disgraceful. I covered this a little bit this morning, but essentially what's happened is Netanyahu has given an ultimatum to Hamas. Hamas have said okay, and then he went, no, not like that.
And I didn't think you'd agree with me, so I'm gonna
So I'm going to do what I'm going to do what it was going to do anyway, and he's launching a ground offensive against Gaza City. He's also murdered another 6 workers working for media companies, including 5 journalists, who were killed at a hospital that was struck twice.
Isn't it? I'm, you know me in numbers. I'm always wrong, but isn't it over 120 journalists have been killed now or something?
It's something like over 200.
200.
200. Journalists been killed in the last couple of years, and compare that with World War II. I looked this up this morning. 69. I think it was 69, and then in the whole of Vietnam, it was 63.
It's and you know there were journalists on all sides in World War. Embedded journalists all over the place. Israel isn't sending any of its journalists with the IDF because why would you? You don't want anyone reporting on what they're doing. I have a friend who's just got back from Israel, and she said it was traumatic to be out there. As a progressive Jewish person, you know, she just said it's been such a huge strain on her and her family to be out there visiting her mother. Because the country is being fed. You know, the news in Israel is not telling the stories that we read at all. It's glorious victory and onto the future, that kind of shit.
Do you know why the NASA hospital was targeted? Do you know what the excuse was from the Israeli military?
No, what did they?
There was a camera on the roof.
Okay. I mean, hey, on that basis, let me give you some news that isn't about that. My street was being used to film Grace, the ITV detective series today.
Cool.
So there were lots of cameras on the street outside my house. But if we were at war with somebody, they would just bomb that street, wouldn't they? And John Sims would be dead.
Saw a camera. Stop filming us. We're gonna bomb a hospital to take out a camera.
A camera. And they knew it was a hospital.
Yes. And they struck it twice. At least 20 people were killed, according to Reuters and the AP. That's not Hamas making shit up. That is accredited international news agencies. And the UN's demanded that Israel's investigations into all the unlawful killings that have been going on must yield results and ensure accountability. And this is when I get really pissed off at the whole UN and just the committee side of it, of just like, we'll write a strongly worded speech. We'll send a strongly worded letter to the person responsible. And
maybe call the ambassador in and hand him a letter.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it big time serious, basically. I don't know what you do. Like it's got to a point where all of these things are just acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't mean we're accepting them by any stretch of the imagination, or anyone watching this channel, but you don't seem to be able to raise a voice above this noise anymore. It just seems it's every story is about a slightly more right wing, slightly more racist, slightly more anti-immigrant, slightly more murderous scumbag getting away with it constantly.
Yeah.
And what are the people of Britain doing? They're raising flags halfway up fucking lampposts because they think that's going to stop immigrants coming here, basically. I despair. I really do. But all of them arguing with us. Sorry, I'm going to get cross now. All of them arguing online with people like Sarah, with me over the weekend, to say, British Army, we should do this, and we should flags. You should be proud of the British Army. And you think, why don't you all fucking join up and go and fight a war somewhere against some oppressive regime? Why don't you just go and do that? If you want to die for a fucking flag, then go and do it.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it on Twitter. I really haven't got time for you. Stop painting them on bloody sidewalks in Brighton. Just go out and actually fight somebody. Not a woke liberal lefty. Don't do that, because we ain't going to fight you back, basically.
But they won't. They won't.
Go out and stand up against somebody.
Mike, these are people who are so lazy they can't even be bothered to think. They can't even be bothered to think.
They're lazy thinkers. That's ridiculous. I had a guy arguing with me the other day on Twitter that proud of the flag, proud to be English, etc. And I said, well, you can't write in English. Most of the sentences you're writing are not particularly proud of our language, are they? And he said, oh, that's what you always say. I'm not actually from England. And I went, well, then you're not English. And all of the people that you're defending, they're absolutely going to come at you and tell you that you can't be English.
Yeah.
If you're a foreign citizen and you've got a UK passport, then you are not English. You're British, basically.
Well, did you notice Kemi Badenoch believes in racism again now?
Really?
Yeah, she didn't believe in racism, but now she does. Viper Scott.
Is it since Genric had a go at her or something?
Yeah. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the first super chat of the evening. £2 super chat. Did they say Hamas was in tunnels under it? No, Viper Scott. They said there was a camera either on or in the building, and it was filming their positioned by Hamas, and it was there to observe Israeli forces. And so they had to destroy a hospital to take it out.
Yeah.
Chris C, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Well said, Mike. But they won't. Yeah, true.
Of course they won't.
True.
No.
But yeah, I was going to say, there's an episode of The Simpsons where and I mentioned The Simpsons this morning with Keir Starmer getting his rakes in his face. But there's an episode where Bart gets in trouble at school or whatever. I can't remember. And it was a long time ago. And he gets told off by his mum and dad. And they have a conversation and they say, listen, we've really got to put our foot down this time because he's gone too far. And if we just keep on, going back on the punishments, then he'll never learn. And they send him to bed without any food, any supper, any tea. And he's like, oh, don't worry, you'll crumble, you'll collapse, you'll bring me up some food. And then he goes to bed and he's sitting there and he's like, oh, maybe they're not going to bring me any food. Maybe I'm not going to have any pizza. Maybe this is the moment. Maybe I should, buckle up and fly straight from now on. And then the door opens, in comes Homer with a bit of pizza for him and says, sorry, lad, couldn't have you going without pizza. And I thought it was a great fucking scene because that's what parenting is really. But also on the international stage, that is what the UN do all the fucking time. They go, oh, the naughty person, we're going to stop you doing that thing. And they're like, okay, then, go on then. And they went, okay, in a moment, we'll definitely stop you doing that thing in a moment.
Yeah. 2 weeks' time. Definitely in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, 14 days from now.
We'll be very stern about it.
We'll be very, very cross with you. Paul Ewan, thank you very much for the £2 super chat, mate. Lots of Palestinian patriot saints flags around. Yes, St. George is the patron saint.
Syrian, Libyan, St. George, bless him.
Yeah. Born in Turkey.
Yeah.
And is revered by Muslims.
And, at a time when none of those countries actually existed, none of those borders existed, we didn't call them those things, basically.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to the flag thing a bit. One of the things that really bothered me over the weekend was that all these patriots talking about people that served in the war and died for the flag, and I always go, well, they were idiots then, weren't they? If they weren't dying to protect their family, or at least because they were getting paid or something, then if you just turn up to die for a bit of rag on a stick, then there must be something wrong with you. Yeah. You got to have bigger questions, like, am I not defending the oil rights of Egypt or something? Isn't that why I'm out here? But then they were saying, so it's right to hang these things on lampposts. And they said, you'll never know because you're a lefty and nobody in your family ever served in the army, right? And you can't go back at these people. You can't argue back with facts. You never can. But my granddad was a Royal Marine in the Second World War. Yeah. He had PTSD or shell shock after the Second World War. And we never really found out until later in life why that was. And he was one of the ones that invaded Sicily alongside the SAS and routed out the Nazis and the Italian fascists. And one of the worst jobs he had to do, one of the things that actually drove him over the edge, was climbing up lampposts to cut down collaborators and Nazis and people in villages and towns, Italian people, mayors and councillors, who the villagers had determined, if we kill them and hang them from lampposts, then the British won't kill us because we're not collaborators, we're doing this. And he was having to cut down these dead bodies street after street after street. Fuck. And these arseholes like Jenrick get a little ladder out. They can't even buy a fucking big enough ladder to hang the damn things. They're at half mast because it's the death of our culture in this country, these bloody flags.
Yeah,
we're like Northern Ireland all of a sudden.
Half of them upside down.
They can't put an angle up and work out how big a ladder they should be buying, the bloody morons.
Half of them are upside down.
Yeah.
And when they spray them on the ground, that is, in most countries, illegal to walk on the flag or to drive over the flag is a sign of tremendous disrespect. You've got to understand, in Thailand, if you stand on a banknote, you can be arrested for disrespecting the king.
We're doing geopolitics, aren't we? Trump has just announced an executive order to make it illegal to burn an American flag, a USA flag, and a year in prison with no parole.
Yeah,
it's not like America has got
land of the free.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a little bit more news to go through because we are going to shunt everyone over to our friend Maximilian's channel at 5:30. So we've got 5 minutes left. If you would like to drop a super chat in and get some confetti, we need 3 more. It can be any colour, so don't worry about, spending lots of money. But if you want to put 50p in the idiots, feel free to do so, and we will get confetti. We will get confetti.
For 50p, I'll rant about flags for another 2 minutes, basically.
Big old-fashioned flag rant. Going back to Israel, so there's a US group has demanded the release of an American Palestinian teen who's been imprisoned by Israel. But Norway's sovereign wealth fund, which is worth I don't know, £1 trillion fucking pounds or something now. They've divested from Caterpillar, the makers of JCBs.
Yeah, the diggers and JCBs.
Diggers, yeah. JCB makes JCBs. This is like Hoover, isn't it? Or Google. It becomes a verb, doesn't it? A JCB. We just think of a digger.
Yeah, JCB.
Caterpillar. But
Tory and reform supporting family, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. But Caterpillar have been supplying caterpillars to bulldoze and destroy Palestinian property in Gaza and the West Bank. So the Norwegian sovereign wealth funds, like, fuck those guys. So they're off the list. They've excluded Caterpillar and 5 Israeli banking groups on ethics grounds. And that's what you can do with a sovereign wealth fund. It can be ethical.
Yeah, and powerful as well.
Yeah, unlike wealth funds that are set up for the wealthy who just want to get richer and richer and richer, which are tremendously unethical. Also,
the fact that Norway set that up at the same time we discovered North Sea oil with them, and we didn't set one up, and Scotland didn't set one up, and we just flashed it all away on Margaret Thatcher's policies.
Yeah. So there's an interesting story that's come out of India about an inquiry into a zoo that's being run by the son of Asia's richest person. And there's been an inquiry that's been ordered by the Supreme Court in India because they've got lots of rare species that are critically endangered, and they somehow ended up in the zoo somehow, and they shouldn't really be there. So there's allegations of illegal wildlife imports and financial misconducts. home
Wow.
to 200 lions, 250 leopards, and 900 crocodiles.
In a zoo, not a
in a zoo.
safari park.
In a zoo, yeah.
Wow.
It's in Modi's home state of Gujarat, of which
course.
he was governor. And it's a 3,000 acre site, and it's not open to the public. So yeah, calling it a zoo is even stretching it a little bit. It's a personal menagerie of animals that are going extinct. Sarah Davis. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah Davis. £2 super chat.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you for being wonderful. Oh, thanks, Sarah. Oh, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. And so yes, Modi's weighed in, obviously, on the side of the rich person with his fucking crazy menagerie.
Did you see Victor? There's some drone footage of Viktor Orban's Dasher, or whatever they call it, in Hungary, and he's got the zebras and giraffes running around his grounds.
What a fucking arsehole. What, like Charles Foster Kane in Citizen Kane?
Yeah.
It's,
if Keir Starmer brought himself a new suit, there'd be outrage. Basically, how do these people get away with having zebra farms on their estates?
I have no idea. There's been it's monsoon season in Pakistan and India, and there's over more than 300 dead so far, as heavy monsoon rains have continued to pummel the Indian subcontinent. And like, monsoon rain is like nothing else. It's like standing under a fucking waterfall. It's quite unbelievable how much water comes down. And obviously, because of these, because of climate change, because the glaciers are melting up in the Hindu Kush and the Himalayas, it's just all exacerbating this. There's been drought areas which compacts the soil, so the soil doesn't absorb the water. Just there's so many things that are just messing things up. And one of the reasons why Farage is running around saying, "Oh, we've got to get rid of all these foreigners coming over here," is because of him and his global, elites who pretend that climate change isn't a thing and want to make loads of money for the Russian oligarchs and the oil business people, petrol heads. Because of them, there's got to be more refugees. And so he's like, well, there's got to be more refugees. Got to stop them coming.
I think this has always been that's what the immigration argument has always been about. Yeah. It's essentially that the petrochemical companies and the politicians that represent them know for a fact, and they've known for decades, that climate change is going to affect them, and that there's going to be mass immigration towards Northern Europe and North America. And they're just cutting off the problem before it starts, as far as they're concerned.
Yeah. Okay, we got all our super chats. Confetti, woo! Big thank you to Viper Scott 1, to Alistair, for £2 just to make it one to the goal, and thank you for that. And Paul Ewan there. Mike, one problem with Trump's edict on burning flags. Burning the flag is the approved means to destroy the flag under the US flag code. Oh, I didn't know that.
I imagine it is. I imagine you have to cremate it because they treat it like it's some sort of deity, don't they? Anyway, so I imagine there are rules for it. It has to be cremated or buried.
But thank you very much to Paul and to Viper and to Sarah as well for the super chat. And also Chris C. Thank you all very much. You're all very kind. We're going to head off now. We're going to leave you in the safe, capable hands of our friend Maximilian Robespierre, who's going to be talking about, what's he talking about? Farage. Talking about Farage's speech. So he'll be concentrating on domestic politics. That. So if you want to just keep watching this channel, we will be automatically redirected over there. You don't have to do anything. Be magically transported over to the wonderful world of Max. And please say hello from us. Can you say hi from Politics Social, Graham and Mike? So first of all, I want to say big thank you to Mike for stepping in to Ollie's big shoes this evening. And excellent co-hosting, my friend. Excellent co-hosting. 10 out of 10. No notes. Gold star and a J.
Hey, let me show you very quickly what I've been working on today. Look.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I've got a second co-host. It does look a bit like me. Yeah.
And this is its mouth is moving.
His mouth moves when I talk.
Oh God, that is so cool. Can you make one of me?
Yeah. I've got one of you. I'm working on that. But stop giving me new projects, Greg.
Okay, sorry. I gave Mike a new project just before we started. Right, better get going, otherwise no one's going to see what Max has to say. So thanks very much for watching. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Please give us a like on the way out while you're waiting for the credits to roll or whatever. That'd be great. And thanks for all the super chats and everything. Until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.